Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 2 of our F1 2010 career mode. Yes, we return this weekend out at Albert Park, Australia, of course for the Australian Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Bahrain, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out as well. We kickstarted our all new adventure, obviously out in Bahrain. We signed with our first ever team. We tried to make it through the Grand Prix. There was a bit of drama from time to time. I might have got a drive-through penalty, but ultimately we did finish, and that was goal number 1 for us in that very first race, and the team pretty happy as well, actually, with the way we got on that afternoon. Taking a quick look at our World Championship standings then, P19 for us in the end, but it was Jenson Button and McLaren that obviously kickstarted their new relationship in the best way possible. Adrian Sutil, though, probably the happiest man leaving that opener race with a podium for Force India as well, ahead of Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso. Constructors-wise, we are ahead of Renault because both of their drivers crashed out quite early on, but luckily, yeah, both myself and Bruno Senna made the checkered flag. McLaren, though, pretty much with more points than everybody else put together from that opening race as well. Already a 28-point buffer ahead of Force India and Mercedes in second and third. Ferrari, Red Bull both had a bit of a nightmare. Looked like they had good pace in qualifying, but then seemingly struggled a bit more come race day Sunday as well. Of course, one of the other interesting aspects of this game that we will have to focus on as time goes on is actually our contract negotiations with the other teams as well. So we're going to have to keep an eye over the course of this season, if anybody else is interested in our services ready for Season 2 of this series. Of course, the goal is to try and win a World Championship on every single one of the Codemasters Formula 1 games. So yeah, if you're new, please make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Obviously, make sure you're definitely subbed to Matt212 Retro if you're watching this on my main channel. But yeah, let's head then here to Albert Park. Returning then to Albert Park, Australia. Of course, it was quite weird in 2010 that this place didn't host the season opener, because it obviously had done pretty much since its inception back, I believe, in 1997, wasn't it? Albert Park had basically, yeah, started hosting the season opener. 1996 even, it might have even been that this was obviously the Grand Prix that kickstarted the campaign. Of course, it had changed around a couple of times, if I remember correctly, and of course nowadays back as that season opener once more, but obviously very different to what we've got as the modern layout for the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, this plays a lot lower average speed there, was probably definitely a lot earlier on the brakes, but I'm hoping this venue, I don't believe, has anywhere near as many auto spin curbs as we saw out in Bahrain. So again, obviously the ultimate goal is to just try and be consistent, as I need to make sure. Whoa, sorry, I don't know who I've just squeezed out there. I got no option to look behind me. But yeah, we need to obviously be running the higher aero, but yeah, very different Albert. Well, it's a similar Albert Park, but different all at the same time. No, what's going on? We're only in practice, there's a pile-up. What on earth? Oh man, no idea what's gone on there, but that'd be much more useful if it happened in the Grand Prix. But I think there was, I want to say, a McLaren, a Force India, a couple of other cars involved in that one. But yeah, although obviously, like I said, there's a lot less auto spin curbs around this circuit, there's a lot of really kind of low-end traction zones, and they are tricky enough as well. But there we go then, come the end of free practice here. I don't think we're going to be as OP as we were in qualifying out in Bahrain, but I'm pretty certain, yeah, Bahrain is just a bit of a funky circuit inside this title, so hopefully, once again, we'll be able to make it out of Q1, but you never quite know what any of the other drivers are going to be able to achieve. A 130.4 for us, a 133.7 for our teammate Bruno Senna, so I mean, to be fair to him, actually, he's gone quicker than basically all of the other back... In fact, he's gone quicker than all of the other back markers, so maybe HRT have got some speed. Mark Webber, then, he will be hoping he can deliver on home soil this weekend. Obviously took pole out in Bahrain, but can he do that as well? Once again here, only in Q1 at the moment, so Obviously, we saw 3 different drivers top each of the 3 qualifying sessions last weekend. So could we see a similar story here today? Ferrari, McLaren and Red Bull, they're sensibly going to be the 3 teams battling for the crown each and every weekend. And obviously over the course of the season as well there. But yeah, obviously trying to mess around a little bit more with the aero around the circuit as well. So obviously, effectively, they call it that obviously you can kind of whack the aero, the wing angle up and down. What it actually was, of course, was the F-duct for a lot of the teams, or obviously, you know, they all had their own kind of version of it. But if you don't know what the F-duct was, it was a really, really bizarre little thing where basically what you do, if you're a driver, you put your hand in a certain spot in the cockpit, and that would basically redirect air through some kind of tunnels in the car, either above the rear wing or kind of away from it, if I remember correctly, to obviously basically either increase downforce or decrease downforce, depending on obviously where you were on the circuit. The only problem with that, of course, was, for example, I think it was Fernando Alonso. There's some great footage of him at Barcelona, where he's holding his F-duct and trying to press a button on his wheel, so he's not really steering anymore. And that was kind of why it ended up getting outlawed. So, yeah, obviously, I don't want to run minimum aero through these final couple of corners. Want the wing angle a whole lot higher. So, obviously, yeah, you are limited in the game as well, just how often you can do it. Hence why I don't tend to mess around with it too much in races. But out of the final corner, what is this first time going to be? A 29 flat. We go 7th spot, split in the Mercedes. So that should be us straight into Q2. And there we go then by the end of Q1. Sebastian Vettel pipping his teammate Mark Webber at the top of the timing screens. Looks like McLaren might not be as quick as they were out in Bahrain. But yeah, Massa and both Mercedes then inside your top 8. We just went quicker than Adrian Sutil and Viantonio Liuzzi. So I think they're going to be our battle come the end of Q2. But all the other kind of backmarkers you would expect out in Q1. Bruno Senna, though, does generally look like HRT might have the best of the backmarker cars this weekend. So yeah, Vitaly Petrov, Jaime Alguersuari out with the rest of that group. Yeah, Sebastian Buemi knocked his teammate out by just 15 thousandths of a second. Well, I've let Robert Kubica stay in front of us then, just because he kind of lets me through, and then they just want to ride up right behind you. It's like F1 Championship Edition all over again when I used to play that game. Yes, I'm sure at some point that game will make a return here as well, because none of you are ever going to forgive me until I finally claim the crown on F1 CE, but yeah, I wanted to play some different kind of classic F1 games before that there as well. Just see, this time round, I opted to try and run Sector 1, Sector 2 with the low aerodynamic setup, and it does make a huge, huge difference on the cars, kind of where they're comfortable, where they're not. But again, trying to attack the curbs. So far, this lap feels okay without minus that one error. We can try up the aero then as we head down in towards Sector 3, but yeah, Kubica, I think he has gapped me a little bit this time around, so I might have to try and go for a second lap. Luckily, of course, you don't have to worry about any battery management or anything like that, as long as you've got the tyres. Oh, that is still in good nick there, but another little wobble at that final sector, so we will bring the wing angle down once more. As long as I can hang on to it through those first couple of turns. How was Kubica on a 131? He definitely pulled away from me on that lap. I think the game just makes times up as it feels like it. That's hilariously stupid. Oh no, that's even more stupid there. Another big slide. Oh, at turn 1. Where on earth is the back? Hey! Who's rammed us? One of the Red Bulls. What on earth is that? Luckily, I think I've got my controller here. Oh no, we can do with the F buttons. What? I don't even know which one that was. Was that Webber or was that, Hey? I'm so lost as to what's just happened. That's as far back as the rewind goes. It's literally just us getting pile driven. Who was that even by? I just want to find out who that was by. I can't see a number on that Red Bull. Oh, there we go. There was a number, I think. Number 5, so Sebastian Vettel has taken us out, and hopefully that run is still good enough to see us into Q3. Well, there we go then. Luckily, we have still made it through. How on earth has Vettel gone fast as he was out of the session? This is so weird. Hamilton, though, looks like he's brought some extra pace in that McLaren car. As Jenson Button still 3/4 of a second away from the fastest times, but I believe your top 9, exactly the same as what we saw in Q2 there. Viantonio Liuzzi makes his way into that Q3 shootout, though, just ahead of Kubica and Adrian Sutil there, with De La Rosa, Kobayashi, Hulkenberg, Barrichello, and Sebastian Buemi all out. But, yeah, anything higher than 10th, I'm probably going to be quite happy with. Well, a load of AI around us then battling with each other, trying to get out onto their Q3 runs. It's a little bit weird. Q1, you've got 20 minutes, obviously, because there's so many cars, that it's just generally quite difficult to try and find a break in the traffic. Q2, you get 15 minutes, exactly the same as obviously what you get nowadays, despite the fact, again, you've got a few extra cars in the session. Q3, though, you're only given 10 minutes. So you barely got enough time to obviously, you know, if you wanted to try and get 2 runs in around a lot of venues, that just would not be viable. But anyway, heading out then, well, for our first run there, maybe I do need the high downforce through that first sector, because the car was still incredibly slippery. So I still think, yeah, high downforce is the way to go. I think it's just a bit better inside this game, but I'm going to try and do this first run, and then I might leave it on the high downforce config for the second run, as someone's binned it. Who on earth has spanned it? Whoa! There's a Ferrari almost upside down as Massa. And I think that might have been Mark Webber that was alongside him there. So no idea what those two have done. But unfortunately, yeah, the rewind seems to be a little bit funky. So I won't get an idea of what's gone on there. But, well, running very, very wide through the exit of the fast chicane. Does actually feel pretty good in this HRT car. But although, yeah, Bahrain was a little bit of a trial by fire, Albert Park seems to be giving us a lot more kind of interesting moments as well. As let's wait and see what everybody else's time then is. Oh, on their first run there as well, get a huge snap oversteer. Can't have been Mark Webber in that crash because he's just gone past me. Vettel does a 27.0 though, as we will only muster up a 30.1. Still quicker than Liuzzi. As I assume, yeah, Alonso and whoever else that was, they're not going to get a proper time in for now. Go already 2 tenths up then on this second run, the high downforce. I think it's just much, much quicker with this HRT. Gives you a lot more confidence, gives you a lot more stability. Basically everywhere around the lap, you know, on the brakes. Yeah, this is going to be our last-ditch run then in qualifying, so I need to make sure that we get this one hooked up. I have edited the audio levels. I have tried to make it so that our engineer is a lot louder. Still feel like I can barely decipher him though, so I'm not really too sure what else I could do other than just muting the cars. As we got another Red Bull gone. That's around Sebastian Vettel there, who almost rejoins right into my path. So a lot of drivers making errors so far in qualifying, and well, hopefully that'll carry on into the race. But out of the final corner, what is the time going to be then on the board? We're aiming for about 28. We will do a 28.6, and we go quicker than Jenson Button. Well, there we are then. Sebastian Vettel, he will claim pole position, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. Mark Webber, his teammate, would join him on the front row. So Red Bull locking out that front row. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Fernando Alonso on row 2. Felipe Massa ahead of Jenson Button. And by, it's saying 1/1000th of a second, or 0.002 of a second. Either way, an incredibly tight margin, but we do go quicker than Michael Schumacher in the end. Nico Rosberg, Viantonio Liuzzi, neither of them getting a particularly good lap time in. But my first goal then as we head into the race, try not to spin at turn 1.
Car to track, move it guys. Finished near the back of the field in the last race. The boys are trying to be very trouble. Get out there and ensure the boss will get it done.
Well, there we are, 5 red lights on the grid. Some words of wisdom from our engineer as well. And the Australian Grand Prix is go, go, go. Once again, doesn't look like we're going to get the best start in towards turn 1. But my goal is just try and take it nice and easy there through that first corner. As, I mean, look at the lines that Button and Michael Schumacher there took through turn 1. Robert Kubica's already going to have made it further than he did in the season opening Grand Prix. Oh, so we're going to get completely shoveled out by Rosberg. down at the end of the straight in towards turn 3. I mean, even Hulkenberg trying to cut the corner to try and get alongside us as well there, as we are just bleeding positions early on then in this race. We'll try and go on a bit of a fight back, but again, the German not wanting to give us any room on the exit of the corner. And we're down to P13 then on this opening lap, so a pretty disastrous start then to proceedings, as I believe that's, yeah, the second Williams of Rubens Barrichello trying to have a bit of a look, but yeah, everybody, the AI seem to be so much better in race pace than qualifying trim, so maybe from now on I'll have to start like starting at the back of the pack or something like that, so we get a bit of a better experience, because the last thing I want to do is just keep getting mugged off on the opening lap of a Grand Prix. But as you guys would have seen before we went down to the circuit, a 61% chance of rain this afternoon. So going to be really interesting to kind of see how that all pans out, as well, the AI, Constantine running up through the final couple of corners. But looks like, yeah, we've got a bit more speed in the car than what we did last weekend. I'm going to up the aerodynamics as well. I don't want to worry about putting the wing in the down position at the moment. I just want to have the confidence through the corners. But yeah, the AI very aggressive off the start. But hopefully now we're kind of settling in. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows out for somebody. Nope, apparently they've gone away again. Might have been a car behind us then that just went off. But yeah, Vitaly Petrov now. Oh, the man trying to apply some pressure. But you can see, yeah, Kobayashi, he's not pulling away at a rapid rate of knots. But like I said, I think goal number one is just meet that race objective. Try to make sure that we can beat, well, Bruno Senna as well. As you've got to be so careful making your way through those final few corners. That's where we've seen a lot of AI errors in qualifying. But we see the same in the race there. That outside curb through the penultimate corner as well is lethal. So I've got to make sure to avoid that one. I'm not going to worry too much about kind of if the rain's going to arrive until I've made the switch over to the prime tyre a little bit later on. Team do firmly believe it's going to be a one-stop today, and I'm inclined to believe them, so I want to try and get these options to about lap 8, and then obviously try to go to the end there as, well, Petrov having a bit of a look down the inside. Again, the AI more than happy just to shovel you a bit wide. I'll do it to myself that time, but we hang on to the spot. Oh, that's around Petrov. Oh, clearly feeling a lot braver. Whoa, big snap oversteer on the exit as well, as Pedro De La Rosa now are going to be the next one waiting in the wings. But yeah, once again, a bit like what we saw in Bahrain, I think we're going to see a bit more kind of a fair pace representative, where we might hopefully be quicker than the rest of the back markers. But I don't think we've got the pace to keep up with everybody else here, as you can already see Petrov scampering away into the distance. But again, consistency is everything, as already these option tyres starting to look a little bit beaten up. I don't know who's behind Pedro at the moment. Might be the other BMW Sauber is it Kobayashi? Yeah, Kobayashi, wasn't it? No, Kobayashi's already ahead of me. I don't know who else is behind, but I feel like I'm going to find out pretty soon. There we go. Just starting to see some of our first AI peeling into the pit lane then, so we might be running back up in the points then temporarily, as De La Rosa opts to dive in as well. So it's Kovalainen actually able to keep up with us then, as we're going to inherit P11 then of this race. But I mean, if we can be quicker than the Lotus car here, or at least hold him up, I'd be very happy with that. But how much further are the AI going to be able to take their tyres? Could a two-stop strategy for us really open up this race? I want to try and still stretch the one-stop in case we get some rain later on. But of course, you know, 63%, that's a horrible number. It's not that it's, you know, really likely to happen, but it's, you know, it's kind of plausible. Well, there we go. A few more cars then into the pit lane as well. To be fair, our tyre wear, although it's still looking quite high, doesn't feel too bad at the moment. No idea what tyres Kovalainen opted to start this race on, but I would assume that the prime tyre would probably have an advantage already. Got to enjoy the laps we can spend inside the top 10. But I think, yeah, the other big thing I'm noticing very early on in this game is just how much steering you can apply whilst you're still braking. A car can carry a lot. Whoa, into a corner? Not when I do something like that, though, is make sure we gather it up. Kovalainen will say thank you very much, though. And now we've got our teammate Bruno Senna right on my trumpet. So, yeah, back inside the top 10 for about 4 corners. That's not what I was hoping for. Oh, we got yellows, someone's binned it. That's Kubica! Robert Kubica again! Looks like he's ran into problems here, and well, his start to life as a Renault driver is really not going that well for him. So we are then going to be back up inside your top 10 temporarily, and could that cause some chaos in this race? Is that Kovalainen just ahead still? I think it is. But when are we going to see the front runners pit? As it is hilarious kind of seeing the yo-yo effect. I remember it being a thing as a kid, but you didn't kind of appreciate how bad it was on this game. But up then to P9. Someone else gone? Oh, we got another one gone. This is a wheel down to the final couple of corners, and I think that's Schumacher. No, that's Kovalainen. So Schumacher's gone from this race. Kovalainen now seems to have span out as well, but yeah, annoyingly, obviously, you don't have like a full dedicated replay system inside this game, but I've just got to make sure that I don't speed. Where is the pit lane limiter line? There it is. So I think we're good. I don't know what the limiter... I think it's 70 here. I think. Is it? I don't know. Right, well, wait, where am I braking? There, I'm braking there. Hopefully I've done it early. Wonderful. What, that was like the fastest pit stop I've ever seen. No, what are we waiting for? Come on. Oh, Timo Glock trying to make his way in. I don't think I've sped that time. That's the goal. Make sure I didn't speed into the pit lane, because it's incredibly weird inside this game. Where kind of the marker board isn't necessarily where you need to be slowing down. So make of that whatever you will. But we've re-emerged then in P15. But of course, we've still got quite a few guys that need to pit. And were we still ahead of Barrichello? I honestly can't remember. Okay, so I think that was Schumacher then, obviously, that was out of the Grand Prix. For some reason, with this mod, the Lotus and the Mercedes look fairly similar for some reason. But as Antonio Liuzzi makes his way back onto the circuit as well, Kovalainen is having the race of his life so far down at Lotus. But we're going to try and take these tyres all the way to the end then. Like I said, it seems like the cloud cover is getting less and less. Has Senna pit though and got the jump on us, or is he just losing that much? So Barrichello there tries to make the move happen all the way around the outside. And Barrichello has absolutely mugged me off then. Whoa! Who was that? Kubica, who's clearly got back going again in this race. And well, now he's not, because I wasn't expecting him to dive bomb me there. I think he's in trouble once again. Oh, we got another one. We got another one gone. Down to the final couple of corners. It is, I think that's Liuzzi has gone for a bit of a spin as well. I've no idea. There's just a wheel left abandoned on the inside of those final couple of corners. So, yeah, make of that whatever you will down at the end of the back straight. But yeah, Liuzzi then going round in this Grand Prix. And I mean, Senna and I running 14th and 15th respectively at the moment. I think he will probably still have another pit stop to go. But I am intrigued to see whether we're any quicker than our teammate in clear air. Oh, we've got more yellows apparently. No idea what's going on now. Another one! 2 more! That's Petrov and Sutil, I think, now. In the wall down at the final couple of corners. So, Force India and Renault both having an absolute disaster of a Grand Prix at the moment. I think that now means that Kovalainen is into the points. We are going a few tenths a lap quicker than Bruno Senna as well. And well, actually, race pace-wise, seems to be fairly balanced, actually, around this circuit. It just means whenever an AI gets past me, they absolutely just scamper away. But let's try and close in then on our teammate a bit more. But I need to see whether... Oh, he's going to pit again, as that is not what I need to do. Luckily able to gather it up. Definitely getting a bit more confident with those kind of half spins. Oh, another one! Senna! No, our teammate's gone! What on earth is happening in this race there, as Bruno Senna now has found the barrier? At least, I mean, I guess we're beating him now, which is ideal. There's a few more cars pouring into the pit lane, so hopefully we're going to be back up inside your top 10. No, we're going to jump Kovalainen, so we've got to try and make sure we stay ahead of him all the way through to the end of the Grand Prix. But so far, this race has flown by. It's just been carnage. Oh, come on. We've got to be better than that. Cannot get up on that curb. As Liuzzi now will say thank you very much, and well, there we go. I think, obviously, yeah, Liuzzi's going to have a lot more speed than me in that Force India as well. But Degrassi and obviously Kovalainen, they seem to be 2 of our big threats today, as I think Bruno Senna is out of the Grand Prix. But, I mean, the AI is still making mistakes like that. and Liuzzi loses nothing from it. Well, there we go, another pitter. Another 2 pitters, actually. So are we going to be back inside the top 10? There goes Hulkenberg. I mean, it's Jensen Button just out in front of us, so I don't think we'll keep up with him. But, oh, he takes a wide line out of turn 1. Surely I'm not going to be able to get a run on Jensen Button here. I don't even think I can have a look for a move to the inside of him. And no, Button tantalizingly close. But able to hang on now as DeGrasse's pit. Timo Glock seems to be my closest rival. And again, if it's one of the other back markers, we've got to hold them up. Oh, we got more cars! Every single lap I come round, there's more cars that have gone round down at those final couple of corners. I think one of them might be the Red Bull of Mark Webber, so his home race not going the way he would have wanted it to at the moment. Annoyingly though, that time we won't get ahead of any of those guys, as Timo Glock now really trying to pile on the pressure. Yeah, he's only, what, a 10th behind through those final couple of corners, so we've got to try and hold up the Virgin Man, but we'll wait and see. Oh, another spinner! That's De La Rosa gone! We're up into the points again, come on! I mean, I'm not going to complain about it, as our engineer there is, again, too busy telling us about brakes and things like that, but so far these tyres feel like they've hung on really, really well. Timo Glock's now dropping back as well. I want to believe points are doable today. Well, I'm pretty certain then, with Bruno Senna out, but still currently classified in P16, I think we've only got about 14, 15 cars left running then, well, in this Grand Prix, as that's a bit of rally cross through the exit there. So Timo Glock, I believe it's De La Rosa, and one more are right up my trumpet. I don't think any of the other backmarker teams are currently inside the points. This could be critical come the end of the season if none of the other backmarker teams are going to be able to score. This could basically solidify us in that P10 spot, and obviously get the all-important prize money as well, but we're trying to hang on to the car as best as we can as Kobayashi now coming back out onto the circuit. So we're up to 9th, and now suddenly it could be that both HRT and Marussia are going to be able to score points, but I just want to try and hold up Timo Glock as best as I can, but most of the other cars, I think, that are still running are right behind us. Oh, what's going on in Sector 3? Could we have another one gone? Let's wait and find out then, as, well, the team just reporting stuff, but you never quite know. We might just gain a freebie with no idea who we've gained off of. I think it might be Barrichello that seems to have span around. Is he able to get back going again? Or could we be up to 8th place? We're going to get Barrichello as well. I mean, this is utter insanity at the moment. 3 laps to go of the Australian Grand Prix. We are running up in 8th spot. I'm desperately trying to hang on to the car as the tyres are beginning to fall off towards the end of the race. But if we can keep ahead of Kamui Kobayashi, 4 points here would be absolutely huge. Timo Glock is really struggling. I don't know if he's still running in 10th or whether he's dropped down the order even more. But it might well be that both of us are given a lifeline, and it might be that half the field have retired from this race. Oh, Vettel's pit, I think, late on in the day. Either Vettel's pit or he's been there or something, because he's been basically leading this thing since the start. But Fernando Alonso now up into P1. Of course, it was Fernando that won the IRL 2010 Bahrain Grand Prix. Jensen Button obviously winning here in Australia. Could we see a reverse inside F1 2010? As Kobayashi, this has often been where the AI is so good on the brakes. Oh, I've ran wide. I've given him a squeeze out. And Kovalainen, well, that's the worst possible scenario. We can't let Kovalainen come through. Come on, I've got to try and hang on ahead of Heikki. I completely kind of forgot about him in this Grand Prix, as both of us trying to battle. We know these points could be critical. We're still just trying. Go wheel to wheel through those next couple of corners there as Kovalainen, oh, he runs wide, he completely misses the corner, but he's made the position work. Heikki Kovalainen now up to 8th spot, and that could be a disaster for HRT come the end of the season there. With 1 more lap to go, I mean, we would still expect that Lotus to be a fair bit quicker than our HRT. Normally, it was still quite a bit quicker in 2010 as well, but I think Heikki on much fresher tyres, he has had the speed this weekend, and looks like he might get the prize for it there with 4 points. 4 crucial World Championship points for him. I've just got to keep trying to hold up Kobayashi, though, with 1 lap to go, because, I mean, 2 points is definitely better than 1, isn't it? But Kovalainen, maybe controversially, claiming that spot for good by completely skipping through the grass and just being able to get away with it, but apparently that's the way the F1 2010 AI are going to take it. And, well, sometimes I don't really blame them. Up at the front of the order, though. There we go, I think that's Pedro De La Rosa still just behind us, so both BMW Sauber cars are still behind us in this race. No, hold on to it, please, I don't want to lose this. No! What is that? Glock's gone through up into the point, so it wasn't De La Rosa. And on the final lap of this race, I cannot believe what we are seeing. As the tyres beginning to fall off, I thought I caught the slide. I wanted to get back on with it. I wanted to get the power down. Unless something crazy happens, rather than it looking like HRT might be the only backmarker team to score a point, it looks like HRT might only be the only backmarker that doesn't score a point here in Albert Park. Glock now up to P10. Heikki Kovalainen still running around up in 8th spot as well, as we've got Pedro De La Rosa all over my gearbox. Fernando Alonso, though, and Ferrari are going to kickstart their all-new relationship, so it means that our first 2 races have been won by drivers that have just joined new teams. Through the final couple of corners, though, with a bit of front-wing damage as well. Can we hold off De La Rosa? It'll be P11 in the Australian Grand Prix, but all things considered, right at the very end, that is so painful.
Just 1 place outside the points. Good driving, though.
Well, there we are then. Just 13 cars made it to the checkered flag this weekend, but a mighty close finish up at the front there. Fernando Alonso will claim the victory, just 0.2 seconds ahead of Mercedes, who could have won in just their 2nd race back in Formula 1. Lewis Hamilton will get a 2nd podium ahead of Felipe Massa. Antonio Liuzzi ahead of Button, Vettel, Kovalainen there in P8, Kobayashi and Timo Glock all inside your top 10. Gutted. Absolutely gutted with that. Clearly still the AI are very, very good in their race pace. Like I said, I might have to put a prediction up, or a poll even, I should say, as to whether you guys would like to see us not qualify and obviously try and fight our way through from the back of the pack there. But yeah, Lucas Di Grassi, the final driver that got to the checkered flag. Hulkenberg, Barrichello, Senna, Suttil, Petrov, Kubica, Michael Schumacher, Mark Webber, Buemi, Trulli, and Jaime Alguersuari all failing to see the checkered flag. Chaos here from the land down under. But what does that do to our championship tally? Well, it means now Alonso 2 points clear of Button and Hamilton, who are tied now in 2nd spot. Rosberg up to 4th, ahead of Adrian Suttil, with Felipe Massa ahead of Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel there. Antonio Liuzzi ahead of Pedro De La Rosa. Kovalainen up to 11th, ahead of Mark Webber in the point standings there, with Kobayashi, Timo Glock both ahead of ourselves. We're still ahead of quite a few drivers, though, up in P15, so I don't think we can complain too much. But constructors-wise, though, HRT now ahead of Williams, Toro Rosso and Renault, but behind Lotus and Virgin. Clearly, all of your new teams settling in quite nicely there, as McLaren 15 points clear of Ferrari, Mercedes ahead of Force India, and Red Bull down in P5. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We will have to come back stronger next weekend now. I believe we return to Shanghai. So either Shanghai or Malaysia, where hopefully we won't end up bottling it. Well, here we go then. One of the actual things I forgot after the first race of the season was the interviews inside of the game. I was not expecting Crofty. He does not look like Crofty inside this game, but I think I'll be taking the season race by race. I'll just be trying to be competitive, or we'll be looking to beat the other teams around us. I think we start out with some confidence. I think we're going to go with it was just one of those days today. And how has the racing been from your point of view? I think a good car makes things easier. We'll try and inspire a bit of confidence with the team as well. There you go. We're going to get talked about through some stuff. Wonderful. So thank you very much to our agent. Have we got anything else? We're getting some good acclaim with HRT as well, though. But like I said, don't think I want to be staying with them ready for Season 2. I always thought there was a way you could see kind of what level you would need to sign with another team. So maybe one of you guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, Australia done and dusted. We will return out in Sepang. So I'll see you guys very soon.